Hello.
Oh, hi.
Welcome
Hi.
to
Hello. How you
another
doing?
wonderful episode of Uninformed, where four uninformed homies get together and just uninformed throw up all over the internet for you guys. This is where we are not afraid to say anything, really, and there is absolutely nothing off limits when it comes to this show. So buckle in and get ready for the ride that's about to be a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, man.
Roller coaster.
How are you doing this fine Thursday?
Love.
I'm good, Kari. How are you? How you there?
I'm just a little piece of heaven.
Yeah,
You know,
baby.
It's not Friday.
It isn't Friday?
It's not Friday.
But
I'm
this
out.
is the closest we're gonna get to it. So that's all we got. That's what we're here
it's
for.
Wait,
Girls'
is it-
Day in the night.
Is it not Friday for Kari?
I was like, it might be Friday for you now.
No,
How many?
it's still Thursday.
You got like an hour and a half, right?
Thursday. That's cool.
For's Day.
Thursday.
Aw, I love you, husband.
I just want everyone to know that I'm drinking a Diet Coke and just learned today from Kari that it's like really bad for my brain.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this.
Because of the sweetener inside of it, it's also incredibly addictive. That's why people
And
get
the
addicted to
sweetener
Diet
So
Coke.
funny.
causes cancer.
Okay, I'm not a soda person and I've never had a Diet Coke. So for some reason the other day, I was like, I really want a Diet Coke. I've
Mm,
never had one, but I want it.
mm.
So I got one, and so I got like the little cans,
Yeah.
and it just felt so exciting. And then Kari mentioned that what is it, aspartame, whatever.
Aspartame.
Yeah,
Aspartame.
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 And I was like, what? And then I looked, and I'm like, God damn it, it's a third ingredient.
You
But
wonder,
listen,
you
I
wonder why
only have
Donald
a
Tr-
few.
you wonder why Donald Trump shits himself all the time. It's his addiction to Diet Coke.
Yeah.
No,
Bree,
for real. I'm being serious. Yeah.
Our mission to red pill you is getting more and more successful as you are now drinking Donald Trump's favorite.
Why
So-
is it that right when I try it for the first time, I got the little ones?
Next,
there's,
Bree's
like,
gonna
nothing
have
in
a
here.
Diet Coke button
It's
on
just-
her desk.
For someone who's so like, I have to have like my hair products are vegan.
I needed
and like
something
no
different.
fragrance, and then you're
Well,
just
I
like,
didn't
I'm gonna go
know.
straight to the brain eating Donald Trump juice.
I didn't know that.
Is Tony and Bobby rubbing off on you? Are you turning into a Republican?
No, I'm forever an anarchist. I'm not. But I
mm.
didn't. So maybe this is my own version of anarchy on myself.
I think I might be a socialist, but I don't know what that means.
You know what?
Well, let's unpack
I
that.
almost added that.
You think you might be a socialist?
I don't know what it
almost-
means.
I mean,
That should be your
let's
tagline.
unpack
You
that.
think you
What
might
do
be a
you think a
socialist?
socialist is?
No, I didn't pull that. I'm
No, we didn't
adding
pull
it.
Yeah,
No,
we'll
I-
add it. We'll add it.
Yeah. So it comes up
Socialism.
6 shows from now, and I'm,
Socialism or communism? I don't know. What about
Oh,
democratic
maybe I'm a
socialism?
communist. I don't know.
I would have gone for Bernie.
I'll describe my ideals to you, and then you can tell me what you think.
$27.
I wanted to vote for Andrew Yang.
Hello from Mexico. Listen, the greatest
Yang
video
gang.
ever is
Hola.
of Bernie Sanders when he was like running and he has all those papers and it like falls everywhere. I'm like, is this not his life 24/7?
I am once again asking for your help.
Hey, he's a good man. Okay, listen, who's
Look.
who's ready?
Being a socialist politician is a great way to become a millionaire.
Being any kind of politician is a great way to become a millionaire.
It is. It really is.
Okay, I would
Okay.
suck at politics.
Me too.
I'd be like, whatever you guys want, just do it. God,
Do it.
it's
Oh,
not
I'd be
that
opposite.
serious.
I was like, you can't have anything. It's whatever
It's
I
not that
say.
serious.
Well, we know Jamie will immediately become a dictator.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh-oh.
We just added this one. I pulled meme culture.
Ooh.
Ah.
That's a good one.
Meme culture. Okay,
Who
so
wants to
I
start?
think
I guess she
I
does.
think that meme culture draws a very interesting line between comedy and flat out abuse in some cases. You know, like it can definitely go too far when it comes to things, but I personally am a meme fan. I will never not be a meme fan. I make memes all the time, mostly of my fellow co-hosts, and I put it in our little chat and they hate it. but it's what brings me joy to make memes of you. Like the whipped brie one, hilarious. I already have my next audio for brie.
Hilarious.
Talking
It's
about
very
knife and brie.
aggressive. And yes, Night Gazer. It's considered a culture because it is, I mean, a new type of culture. You know, you got pop culture. Meme culture is definitely a thing.
Oh yeah.
Kari, would you agree that it most likely started at like 4chan or like whatever the hell was before
Image
4chan?
boards definitely
3chan?
accelerated the use of them, but like
2chan.
things that are
2
mimetic
chains.
have been around for like a long time.
Yeah.
So the way that, you know, like I guess like early alien abduction stories are kind of mimetic. Like the Betty and Barney Hill one stuck around in the public consciousness. Like meme comes from the word mimetic, which is like can you squeeze some information down to like a simple hit of information? That way it sticks with people, and then you share it and it self-propagates.
Is that why I like memes so much? Because they're basically picture books of information.
I think so.
I mean, that's actually a good way to describe them, but yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I believe that
Good
a
memes,
meme
bad memes don't do anything, but
can represent an overall vibe, an overall feeling. You know how sometimes you can say something in text, but it doesn't capture like your vibe. Like there's so many different ways to say something or how you mean it. And a meme, especially if it's like, I feel like a GIF counts as a meme, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just encapsulates everything that you're trying to say and all of like the nuances and the overall vibe to something. I think one of the favorite things that Jamie and I do occasionally is have like just a meme war. Like we're just back and forth. Like we will just send meme. It's so weird.
And if you watch it, there's kind of a story to it. I swear to God, every time. Like there's like a thing going on. Like my meme is in response to her meme, and so
and then
on and so
back
forth.
and forth and back and forth. It's like
where are we going?
Memeing. Yeah.
I think memes are a way of life. I think that this is just like us. I mean, this is gonna sound crazy, but I think this is us reversing kind of technology and going back to those like Stone Age days where we just like had pictures of things, right? Like they just carved pictures. We're going back, instead of language, we're going right back to where we were, where it's like pictures of everything again.
Well, it's
like
a combination of visual humor
petroglyphs
and information imparting. So, yeah.
I know Tony likes to make memes.
I do like to make memes. Memes
Right.
are...
See, this,
and I
this
think
is what I'm trying to say. Night Gazer said what I was trying to say. Before the internet, a meme simply meant an idea that spreads to others organically. So like word of mouth. The internet made it into a visual medium. Yeah, there you go.
So
there's actually a really good... I have a good book about meme culture. Well, kind of like
memes.
Culture.
Here we go.
Fucking
kill on
Always telling the people who don't know how to read something. Can you at least recommend a picture book? I recommend.
I'm trying to stay uninformed.
Yeah, Jesus, Kari. Why are you trying to ruin the show?
Yeah, it's not the name of the show.
Yeah, Jesus.
Read this book.
If you can.
All right, any final thoughts on memes?
Yeah, Tony didn't get to talk.
Tony.
Everyone is
because Kari kept stepping on my dick.
So I think a meme is...
Okay. Memes are, I think it's really cool because it really, like we've all said, is the most basic form of communication. But memes have actually changed a lot in society. I don't know if people remember that the internet, through memes, basically bullied the special effects company and the producers and directors of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, because he looked like a cracked out little
that's
thing.
true. Yeah. And they literally remastered
it into a new thing.
Mm-hmm. They were bullied so much by the internet and by the memes of the horrible character. Absolutely.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Also, I didn't know that Whitley Strieber's alien probe story was a meme either.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted someone to recreate that, though. What it looked like, if anyone remembers what. Yeah, because
when he describes it, it's wild. Bree's talked about this on when we used to do just the audio only podcast, and she went into great detail describing it.
Well, yeah, he goes into great detail in the book, and vicious. That's all I gotta say. so vicious. And I'm like, why hasn't someone recreated this? Like,
Oh, I bet
3D
you could
print
do
it,
it
man.
like South Park style.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
wasn't that like the
Fucking
first ever episode of South Park was
was Cartman getting anal probed?
Right.
Listen, I think that Diet Coke's giving me a headache, or it's placebo effect because I just learned and I've only had a few sips. But it's
Aspartame
kicking
gives
in.
you a headache. Yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah.
But
Aspartame
then
is
how come
not good
other
for
Coke?
you.
But then
Have you
other
never-
Coke is
have you
good for a
never-
headache because it's peptid. Is that what
Because
it's
it's
called?
peptin inside of it.
No one
Yeah,
ever
it's good
listens
for
to me.
it's good for a headache. Yes, and they also one of the reasons they put peptin inside of Coke specifically is because there's actually so much sugar inside of Coke that
Why
it
am
would
I
make
here?
you nauseous if you drank it without the peptin inside of it.
I just have to go back to my no soda lifestyle.
You probably
I
should.
experimented,
Or like
and that was cool.
soda.
I like
No.
Sprite.
I just wanted
It's
to give
not
it a
Sprite
shot.
anymore. It's called Starry.
That's Sierra Mist. Crazy.
Is that what it is? I thought it was
Yeah.
Sprite.
No, it's Sierra Mist is now called Starry.
I just learned that SODA stands for System of a Down or something like that, or I don't know, some band acronym.
SOAD.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like,
You
oh,
have-
okay.
I'm just gonna gloss over that before I have an aneurysm.
I just learned that soda means for System of a Down,
Yeah.
even though the A at the end of soda is in the wrong spot.
Whatever, you know what I mean.
Ooh. I
is it, Brie?
really like this topic. It's data privacy.
Ooh.
Oh
Okay.
man. Okay, I
I'll
guess
let someone else
Jamie
go
started
first.
again.
No,
you know
I was
what?
like, I'll let someone
Why
else
don't
go
we
first.
just start? How about we just do the corners? Jamie, Tony, me, then Kari. So go ahead, Jamie.
I think that we should be able to decide as individuals whether or not we want our data harvested. I understand that it's become a huge company and people don't realize it, but most of the companies that are out there are like these companies of these games that you play on your phone. It's not the game that they're making money from. They're making money from selling your data. So I think that it's just important that we have laws within our governments that are very strict about what kind of information is being gathered and whether or not people have access to opt out of those things. But I also think at the end of the day, like me personally, I kind of don't care because I don't do anything weird and I just don't give a shit. I just don't care. But if there was a way for me to make money off of my own data, I would sign up for that in a heartbeat.
And you actually hit it on the head, because what I was going to say is I think that you should be able to, because these companies make billions and billions of dollars selling your data. Facebook makes so much money selling your data. And we all know that TikTok is just spy software for the Chinese government. So if it was so to say, like, yeah, you can have my data, but you have to pay me for it because it's my data, not your data. Like that, if there was some type of exchange like that, I would be cool with it.
Yeah.
But as far as data privacy goes now, there's like none. You have none. How many people have for instance, how many jokes are there about, I was thinking about this, and then it showed up on my Facebook feed as an ad, or because they did a study. I can't remember who it was, but Facebook, I think it's Facebook or Amazon, knows you're pregnant before you do.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, people will start getting ads for like pregnancy tests or like things like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Listen, I think that me and Tony are on the same page as this one. What about you, Brie?
I feel that it should not be a shock to anybody. I actually get annoyed when people are like, oh my God, I was just talking about this and I just got an ad for this. I'm like, yeah, this is how it works.
It's literally, yeah.
I also, this is going to be a different opinion, I think, than a lot of people, but I feel like if you are privileged enough to use a device that someone else has created for you, you don't, I don't want to say you don't have right to your data, but I don't I feel like you're already using someone else's like created device, created software. I would assume it would just kind of come along with those things.
You mean like you're like whenever you get a new app, you have to sign like the user agreement. Like I have
Terms
read
of
this and I
service or
agree.
whatever.
Exactly, terms of service. Like so at the end of the day, like you're the one who's signing up for that app. So everyone's like, oh, TikTok and China is mining your data and spying on us. It's like, yeah, but we also are signing up for it by downloading the app on our phone. We could
Right.
literally undo it if you were that really concerned about it.
And another thing, like Jamie and I have talked about, and of course I agree, like the TikTok thing always tends to bother me because people are like, but the Chinese are spying on you and they're going to know this and that. I'm sorry, but the government's been spying on you since day one. They
Yeah, for
literally
sure.
gave you a barcode. And
Mhm.
if there's any government out here that I actually think is worth being afraid of, I think it's the US government. I think they're more powerful and I'm actually here for them to touch and get to. And so I don't do anything weird and suspicious on TikTok where I give a shit if someone else is saying what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Because again, we've been stalked our entire lives by the government, like every detail. So, I mean, come on. Like, I just kind of feel like people assume that they live these private lives and they can have all these things and just assume that, you know, that's still yours. But I just don't really agree.
Well, it got a lot worse after 9/11.
Oh, for
And
sure.
Everything got worse
with
after
the Patriot
9/11.
Act and everything like that. Like the government can legally spy on you and make up fake ass reasons for why they're collecting.
Well,
all your
I think
data.
that's a whole nother topic that we have to go down, like the ramifications of 9/11. A lot of people assume it was for one particular reason, but it was so much of a domino effect of different things that the government was able to accomplish under the facade of 9/11.
Mhm.
Or like, I'm sorry, but if you have an Amazon Alexa and you're afraid of TikTok, to me, that's just backwards.
Yeah, for sure. Like
You have a listening device on you all the time. Like,
You
I
have
don't
a
know. I
CIA
just think
spy
it's fucking
device.
has been there's actually been somebody who's been who was accused of murder and was prosecuted, and it was all recorded on the Alexa, and
Yes.
they went back and pulled the data from the Alexa and they heard the murder happening.
Yep. And Alexa has called the cops on people because Amazon realized that there was a crime going on or something, and Alexa used the internet to call the cops and tell
Yep.
them where it was.
That's kind of cool. I mean,
But that's but it's double-sided. It's like it's like yes, but then also if you were in the comfort in your home and you thought that you could get away with murder and then a fucking Alexa rats you out, like let's just say you
Get
commit
what you
the
get.
perfect fucking murder and everything, like no nothing, and then it's Alexa that rats you out, like that's kind of fucking shitty.
yeah,
it
I
is.
feel like I've come a long way. I mean, if you guys only knew how long it took for me to sign up Face ID when I got I've always had the latest iPhone, and that was like the big feature at the time, and it was the one thing I wasn't gonna do. And then I was like, this is so stupid. Like, to think that no one has my facial ID by now, when there's cameras everywhere watching you cross the streets.
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
all right, just give up.
The government
That's why
can literally
they-
take a picture of you and scan it and find you on all their cameras.
That's why
I'm
they
just
do
not
the.
dangerous as a person, so I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
why they
care
always
either.
do that throwback challenge every year that shows up on Twitter and Facebook and everything. So oh, throwback, show us you 10 years ago and show us you today. Like, here you go, FBI. Here's my picture.
That's what I look like,
Yeah.
exactly.
Kari,
I mean, you guys have basically said everything I would have said. Like,
no differences? I think you're a little bit more suspicious.
I mean,
Than most, yeah.
That's true. You have a Chinese
used
phone.
to
I have a
be-
Chinese phone.
I mean, I used to be pretty hot on being secure with my data, and then for a long time I wasn't. But then in the past 8 months, I've started taking it way more seriously. As you can tell, I'm nowhere on the internet other than here. So yeah,
YouTube, one of the biggest fucking platforms in the world.
yeah, but I'm not giving it personal information. Right? So
And I think Night Gazer brings up a good point. It might, a Chinese phone. I mean, all of our devices, we're worried about an app from China, but our phones were literally made in China. I mean, if you wanted to do something, you could have done it then.
Not my phone.
I don't know.
I don't even know where my
Also,
phone is.
China's like just like setting off balloons to spy on us and stuff. So like I think they have it covered. I think that if they were spying on us through our phones, they wouldn't have to release balloons into the sky, guys.
Yeah, because that's a really far look, you know?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Again, there's really nothing important. So it's really difficult though, because I do think that there's a line when you and when certain agreements you authorize the app to also have access to your contacts. And like I know I think it was even like the Starbucks app a while ago, that it could also take data from people in your contacts. And that to me felt wrong, because it's like, it's okay if I say, yeah, take my data. I don't think it's okay for me to speak for someone else or make that decision for someone else.
Give somebody else's consent? Yeah, absolutely not. That's like the opposite of consent.
Yeah, and then it's like, if you don't sign those agreements, yeah, I don't think you can have anything. You just don't have anything. It's like, what do you... Well,
Brassel brings up an interesting point, because I actually have looked at my Google data before and like what they accumulate on me. And I will say I found a very weird, strange, creepy recording of my grandma talking that I can only assume that they got from my phone. And it was like no context, like me and my grandma in the car or something. And it was just so fucking random. I highly recommend everyone go looking at your Google account. If you go into your settings of like your Gmail or something and look up, you can look up your data, you can download it. I downloaded like 17,000 pages, and most of it I really couldn't understand, but like I said, some of it, like the recordings and stuff, I was like, how weird.
The recording thing is weird. To be honest, I get really irritated when my account's on pause, because I have multiple Gmail accounts and I don't mix them, and so I get so irritated having to constantly log in. Yeah, I'd rather just everything be connected. I don't care, just let me do my stuff.
Imagine how confused Google is about our joint account for Tatiwaba. They're probably
right?
Who the fuck are these people?
Logging in different countries, different...
I missed it. Someone asked about 9/11. I believe it's in here. Just so
it's in the bowl, don't worry.
Yeah, I was going to say it's in the bowl. So maybe you'll get lucky, and I'll get to go off on a rant. So.
I'm surprised that our 9/11 episode is still up.
Yeah, our 11 episode
Where
is
is
still up. No, it is, yeah. What was the one that got taken down? Adrenochrome?
Yeah.
Be saying that stuff.
Oh shit, I forgot.
Okay. Why is America culturally ignorant to third world nations?
Ooh.
Oh, that was one of mine. And that was...
And you start.
No, I put it in there for Tony.
Oh, I could start.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's incredibly easy, because America sees itself as number one, period, end of story. So it pushes
that's a deep cut to a conversation me and Tony had.
It pushes its own propaganda more than it does other people. Like it is what it is. Like, have you ever noticed how whenever you see
America
like on
first?
Yeah, it's America first. Like whenever you see like on TV, like the sad children in other countries and they're raising money for them, you don't see commercials like that about that happening in America, but it 100% fucking does. And in that sense, America doesn't give a shit about its country first, but it's always trying to make itself look better than other countries. So I think that it is instilled upon the way that we're born to only think about our country and no other countries, or to feel pity upon other countries, because the way America makes America seem is like we're always here to like save the day for everyone. Like every time somebody gets in trouble or a war, America's there to help back them up and get them out of it. And like we teach that to our children through our history and through just like our quote unquote patriotism, how it is. It's America's the greatest and the biggest and the best. So, which is sad, because I think it's come to a point where like there was a point in time where absolutely I think that was the case. I just don't think that's the case anymore. But I think that unfortunately it's starting to get a little bit North Korea-y up in here with the America shit. Personally,
you mean like
that's what I think.
You mean like nationalism?
Yes. Specifically, like Major Taylory Green, whatever the fuck her name is, Majorie, that one.
Marjorie.
There you go,
Taylor
Marjorie.
Greene.
And she was
Why are you
like,
taking
I
her
think
seriously?
that Republicans should move to red states and the Democrats should move to blue states, and then we could just separate each other. And I'm like, oh
Well,
my
she
God.
straight up said that she thinks that we should be a Christian nationalist country. She
So I'm
flat
saying,
out said
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
it. Tony, what are your thoughts?
Well,
From the only real patriot here who actually, you know,
yeah, but I'm also a paranoid psychopath. So there's
that's
But
patriotism.
are you that way because of, you sold your body to the U.S. government at a young age and they took advantage of you?
I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two
That's what I'm saying.
and done a thing or two. But it's, and this actually a little bit of a backstory. This came because I asked something about why England had to go colonize the world and some shit like that. And so
They did.
Kari went and threw that back in my face. And I laughed. But, I don't think America's... Okay. I do think America is ignorant to other cultures. And I think part of that is because, yes, we do hold America at a higher level than we hold any other country, but I've also been to Japan, Korea, Colombia, Cuba, Peru. I've seen a lot of other countries and a lot of different areas of those countries. So I think it's a general lack of education of what the rest of the world is like. And a lot of people, if they understood what other countries are like and what their cultures are like, they would have a better understanding of America and Western culture in general, because Western culture itself is just self-absorbed.
That's interesting.
What about you, Brie?
I think that growing up, I definitely fit into the conditioning of feeling like America is the best, and that where like our lives are better and our freedoms are better. But that's not to say that it isn't the case. I mean, I'm sure not for every country, but am I glad that I can practice any religion or not practice religion here without dying? Absolutely. And that to me is like a fundamental freedom. And so we are lucky in that sense, I don't really know what else to say. I think that also because of like the war and the situation and how our media is really good at portraying how awful everything is everywhere else, that for a big chunk of my life, I was afraid to travel to other countries. Maybe even still am, to be honest with you guys. It's
Your
just,
grandma's
like,
afraid to go to Egypt.
Like, it's not safe. Well, my grandma's had really bad experiences in Egypt. And the last time she was there, I mean, woke up to someone that broke into their hotel stealing her jewelry. And just everything there was
She
just
got Kim
fucking
Kardashian.
crazy. And that wasn't the first time she's been to Egypt. She's been to Egypt a lot. But yeah, I think I just got a little bit afraid of like what's going to happen. And then are people going to be like, America, stealer, ask for ransom. I don't know. But I do wish that we, I think America as in land did have culture, but we tried to wipe most of them out. And that to me is the sad thing.
All right. And what about the perspective of the person who doesn't live in the United States?
I think
that's a hard one. Because Kari belongs here.
Agreed.
Kari, you said it so yourself, like every day.
Yeah.
Literally. No jokes.
Well, listen, when Tony buys those hundreds of land, I'll move out there.
Yeah, true. America's existence is based on a self-determination, which is very inward-looking, and it was focused on building its own thing and being the greatest light in the world. Masonic forefathers or whatever. But like, yeah. The reason I brought that question up is because it's a good counterpoint to England are colonizers, because it's like, I don't have anything to do with that. So
Duh.
blaming me for it is just silly. So like, I will ask the same thing of you. Why is America so culturally ignorant to the rest of the world? And I'm putting it all on you, Tony.
Yeah, it's because it's fuck everybody else.
Also, because I think that America just likes to meme everything. We're the biggest meme producers out there.
Mm-hmm.
We see everything and we meme it. We're like, England colonizers. Let's make a meme
America
of it.
likes to put a price tag on every living thing on this planet.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It is even down to the point where our insurance companies, if you lose an arm, they have a specific calculated amount that they send to you for losing.
The CIA have redacted.
They just shut her down. They were like, do not go there. Do not go there.
Do not go there.
Every time she says something crazy, that's what happens. They're like, nope. You better
Literally.
Could you imagine they're like, your arm is only worth $100. Sorry about it.
Sorry about
There
your
was
mother.
somebody who sued the insurance company because like his dick something happened to his dick. He didn't have his dick anymore, and they were only going to give him like $10,000 for it. And he was like, "I think my dick is worth more than $10,000 fucking dollars, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but like that was my dick."
Oh, really? Because we have in your file here that it was
Yeah, they were
under
literally
4 inches.
Yeah, they were like literally. We'll measure him in girth wise and weight wise. This is what it comes out to. We do it per pound.
Man. That's really crappy. Or like if you lose a left hand and you're right-handed, then you don't get as much as your right hand would have.
Non-dominant hand loss.
That's fucking shitty. I need life insurance.
Next topic.
Let's get it.
Well, I got 2. I feel like, this is a heavy topic. This is a heavier topic.
Nope. We'll pick one and put it back.
Let the audience pick left or right.
Okay. Okay. My right, my left.
Okay.
First one we see, we'll do it.
Yep.
Uranium.
Uranium.
Right or
Great.
left hand? My right hand or my left hand?
Somebody.
Anybody.
My ADD is on fire today.
It also helps that there's like a layer. Right.
My right hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm putting the other one back. Okay, this one is about video games. Video games being data harvested for human brain research.
It's one of my
If you saw, what was that show we all watched? Starts with a P. No, after that one. What's the other one we watched? Peripheral.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now that is like really like in your head. So, Kari, you go first.
I've been thinking about. So I used to play a shitload of video games, right? And you used to be able to like look at individual match data on the Battlefield website, the Halo website, whatever. And it gave me this realization that like we were talking about data collection earlier, and this is the part of data collection that I'm really kind of interested in, is you can map a lot of stuff from the data that they're able to capture of your inputs in the game. Like your play style, what roles you're doing, what actions you're taking, whether you're the kind of person to save a teammate or not save a teammate. Like you can get a lot of psychological data from these things. And where does all that data go? And as these simulations get more and more immersive, you're able to map more and more decisions, like decision-making modes. I think Westworld it takes that idea to a good kind of medium where all like it's brain scans from the hat when they're in the park, and that's how they're getting all the data of their decision making. But it's the same inputs. You're putting them in a manufactured situation and monitoring their decision making process. So like,
I think we should turn the music down. It's actually, it's
We'll turn it
no
down.
one played this game. No one played the Wii. What the hell?
I think that we also have like there's like this theory out there that the government is kind of already doing that, and that's how they're getting to recruit people for military or special programs and stuff, is that they're harvesting this information and they're collecting it, and they're finding these individuals who are perfect for whatever role it is that they're looking for. So I feel like that it's not confirmed that that's happening. That is definitely a theory that's out there. I think a theory that's incredibly probable.
I mean, recruitment comes from many places. You know, like
Could
colleges.
you imagine?
Like
Someone's like a really good
colleges, private like IT institutions, ROTC, stuff like that. Like that's where a lot of recruitment comes from, because it's that kind of high achiever stuff, and you mix that with, you know, like a lot of these drone pilots probably got recruited.
I was just gonna say
through these things, but they're all
drone pilots are the biggest thing, because literally being a drone pilot is incredibly similar to playing a video game. And when you have people where that is their skill, they make some incredibly skilled drone operators.
Yeah.
Except the trauma of having to press the button.
But it's also interesting because was it an accident? Video games being the way that it is, how it is now being used in military warfare. Is that an accident? Or do you think that it's possible that they took those skills of those video games things and they found a way to make it applicable, or wherever that word is, for this generation, and that's why we have this huge thing of like drone operators now, because we have these kids who have this very specific skill, so they took advantage of it.
It's because they're pushing these it's not just about the violent video games, it's the hand-eye, you're creating a culture where this hand-eye coordination is key. So you get these kids that are playing with these joysticks or whatever from like 5-6 years old, and they get really, really good at it. Like not just like, oh, I'm going to play a game and have some fun, like
dominate.
They go in and they're playing 5D chess kind of thing. That's the kind of people that they want, and how better to create the next generation of military than to seed them with these kind of ideas. Whoa.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I think it's a great way for them to kind of weave out who would be an asset. You know, unless they show up and the person's like, it doesn't actually have legs already, or they're...
But again, if you're a drone operator, do you need legs?
Drone operators, yes, but
it depends on how they have it set
boots
up.
on the ground in combat, no.
What do you think about the data collection?
So, yeah, you know, there is. I was actually graduated from recruiting school for the United States Army. So they actually were starting up. Oh, this would have been 2017. They were starting up a esports thing. And what they would do is they would have a big like bus or trailer or whatever, and it would have a bunch of like Xboxes or computers or PlayStations and Wi-Fi, and they would do esports competitions at high schools to get the kids to come hang out with the Army recruiters, so that off of the basis of you're playing video games, but hey, would you like a job? What are you doing when you get out of high school?
Oh, hey, you're real good at that video game. You'd be real good in the Army.
Yeah, I mean they've never made a realistic military game, and I really wish they would. Where like you
America's
show up.
Army.
I mean, is the military just human trafficking?
I always thought Call of Duty must have been decent.
See, if you want to make like a really realistic military game, your character has to show up at 4:30 in the morning, and then you stand around for 5 hours not doing anything, and then the entire plan changes, and then you end up sweeping a parking lot or some shit because you're a brand new private, and then somebody yells at you for a little bit.
Yeah, you get berated for a little bit.
Yeah, mop rain or something, you know, just do a bunch of dumb shit for no reason.
Earn your place.
Yeah.
To actually do anything fun.
Before you can do anything, you have to do your mandatory training. So you have to do like 25 hours of online classes before you can actually go out to the field to do your job. That would be the most realistic military game.
I agree, Simon. Mine is just working the streets and going, hey, you want to have some fun?
Oh my God, Kari, can you make GTA music for us for the next show that we do?
Well, GTA
music.
though it's like real songs. It's like a radio. That
No,
you
it's like it's
change,
do
and it's-
do 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 do. It has like that one constant theme song that it has.
Oh, you mean like the menu music?
Yeah.
The loading screen music?
Loop it and like slow it down for us. We'll play it in the background next time
Okay,
instead of the Wii music.
sure.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any other thoughts on
No.
It's kind of sad because I also don't want people to just think like, oh, war is just like a video game. I've done this. And then they show up and they're like,
Oh no.
Oh,
No,
everybody
get me outta
gangster,
here.
so it's time to do
It's-
gangster
I don't have
shit.
unlimited lives.
They can tell this, like, putting you in specific situations over
There's
and
no
over and over
cheat
again.
codes.
At least it gives them like a baseline of how you might react. Although, like, I don't know how valuable that data is until you actually but as the simulations get more and more like realistic, the data gets better and better because the experiences are more and more real and the decision making is more in line with what would happen. So we will see when we get to like VR 55 or whatever the fuck. Like,
Was it blank?
Yeah.
oh no,
Fun.
that was the void. That was the joke. It was the void.
That's
void.
funny. Wait, was that on purpose?
I think so. I
I
seem
think
to
I would have
remember-
written that.
Okay. I do remember making a joke that it should be a blank one.
Is this what I think it is? This is stupid. The Super Bowl.
Oh. Oh. I think that
Halftime
it's
show sucks. Boom, done.
yeah, I thought the halftime show was awful. I wanted ass shaking. I got vagina smelling, and that's all I have to say.
I
It's
thought the
very
final
like an
play of the
American
game
thing.
was very smart. They
Go
could
Seahawks.
they could have gone for the touchdown, but then it would have given possession, and they still had 90 seconds on the clock. So then they played it out of place, and then they had to put. It was like that's clever, and that's how they won the game. I actually enjoyed that final 5 minutes of the game. The rest of the game was boring as fuck. I was like, this is actually like excruciating to watch. I don't know
How
why
about
I'm watching
this? I'm going to switch the question into, do you believe that the Super Bowls are rigged?
Yes. I think that all professional sports are fake. And I think that it's unfortunate and it is sad that a lot of these individuals are having their bodies beat up and destroyed and having serious injuries happen to them, all for the name of having a bunch of money.
Millions of dollars.
Who's
Millions
that
of
guy? Was it
dollars,
Aaron Hernandez? That
Oh, the
player?
guy,
yeah.
the one who
Yeah.
murdered because he was actually a
Yeah.
homosexual. Yeah.
He had like loads of brain trauma from
For sure. Tons
being
of
a
it.
linebacker or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
Wow.
a lot of football players that live in the hometown that Jamie and I grew up.
Lots of them.
Morgan Hill, and there was another one recently too. There's a lot of retired football players that are in this area, and I think that people think they're just like, yeah, they get paid millions of dollars, but we do know that a lot of the time they're fucked out of that at the end, and they're not really left with. So it's kind of sad.
Well, I think that happens with anyone with fame who gets money at a younger age, unfortunately, doesn't manage it well. And I don't think that that's to just, football players. I think that's anyone in general. I think that we live in a society, unfortunately, that our public school systems don't really teach us about real life at the end of the day. They don't teach us about saving money for taxes or like making investments or doing things like that. So even if you were just out of college, unless that was a specific subject you were learning, you don't know about that kind of stuff. So you go out into the world, you're giving millions of dollars, and then what's the first thing you do? You buy cars and jewelry and clothes, when in reality, you should be opening up trust and putting things inside of investment savings accounts and things like that. And unfortunately, that's not what happens. So by the time they go to retire, sometimes they don't have any of that money left over.
I think the biggest thing is, and this happens not just to people in sports, but also people that win the lottery, is that everyone comes out of the woodworks. That's like, I'm your cousin, I'm your aunt so-and-so and so-and-so. And, before you know it, you have a million people on payroll. I watched a really sad true crime doc about someone that had won the lottery. He went from basically homeless to winning the lottery. And he ended up having like so many people on payroll because he was already a really giving person, even while he was like halfway homeless. And he was just paying like hundreds of thousands of dollars out. Long story short, his accountant had him murdered, and she took his money, which is really shitty. Yeah.
I
That's
think
Funny, you have any
that, I think that serves a bigger problem to society, though, that I think that we have an issue, that I think that when somebody in your life who has close proximity to you gets money, you all of a sudden feel entitled to it in some way. Like, that's
Right.
not how that should be. But unfortunately, we as a society, that's how we think. Like, I know for a fact that, like, if I won $20 million right now, my mom would be like, ooh, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, no shame to my mom or anything, but like, she would, because I'm her daughter. She'd be like, "Oh, okay, now you can buy me a house now." But like, that's the society that we live in comes to expect those kind of things. And I also think, you know, like that says something bigger about our society as a whole, that like we depend on that kind of stuff, or we think of money in such a way that we're entitled to it if someone else around us have it.
I like
so
investment.
racist.
I like that. Fingers and blow, I like that too. Yeah, it's really shitty. I don't even know what I would do, because I would think like, oh, I would, you know, do this and this and this and this, but then it's like, shit, these little things, people could be like, pay the rest of my mortgage, it's not that much for you. But then if you put that times like 100, I mean, damn.
Yes.
Any thoughts?
On the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl managing money?
That went off on a tangent.
It really did.
I don't know. I think the thing that makes me wonder about the Super Bowl was the whole Tom Brady ball deflated thing a few years back.
Deflategate.
You're right. I remember watching that and being like, was that ball deflated?
Yeah, that was interesting.
No. Was it? Laces out, Marino.
Laces out.
Yeah. No, I haven't really got much to add. I don't care.
Tony?
Who gives a shit?
I watch the Super Bowl, but I really don't give a shit about it. I think it's one of the most boring games that you can watch, and I just like the commercials.
Yeah, the commercials are always great.
NFL is just rugby with a load of pads. Just watch rugby.
Just rugby for pussies. Yeah.
I always watch the Super Bowl too, just for the commercials, for the halftime show. We make drinks.
If you want to watch good football, watch college football. Like, if you are actually into the sport and enjoy football, you watch college football. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you just watch the Bulls play basketball and just actually have class.
I only
Next
watch the
time,
Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
I came for the boobs and the bitches.
Exactly.
No, the beers and the bitches.
Beers and
If
the
anyone
bitches.
knows that, where that's from. I came for the beer and the bitches. Does anyone know where that's from?
No.
Little Nicky, when the Globetrotters are playing, and the little boys.
I haven't seen that in so
They're
long.
Like, I came
Yeah,
for
it's
the
been a long
beer and
time
the
since I've
bitches.
seen Little Nicky.
You
wanna
can
watch
do
Little
it,
Nicky.
Ozzy. Bite his fucking head off.
Cut his head off. Okay. X is reaching back out to you.
Oh, I want to take this first. Okay. First of all, you're an ex for a reason. Stay the fuck out. And the reason I want to go first is because I had an ex reach out to me recently, and I think it's the funniest shit in the world. So I have this dude who keeps reaching out to me, I swear to God, like every 8 months, like fucking clockwork, being like, hey, I hope you're doing great. Bitch, I haven't talked to you forever. So the last time I talked to him, I was like, oh, I'm doing great. Me and my partner, you know, my boyfriend.
CIA has redacted.
Again, hit me up. Did I break up?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where I broke up at. But anyways, he hit me up, and then I was like, me and my partner are great. Fuck off and die. And then he hit me up again a few days ago, and I was like, me and my husband are great. And this crazy motherfucker was like, well, how come when I watch your show, you don't have a ring on?
I don't have my ring on right now.
And I was like, first of all, if you knew anything about me, you know that I don't do rings. Also, if you actually watch my show, you would know that like I literally talk about Corey all the time. Corey is a topic on the podcast, on the show.
It's a little
So fuck
stalkery.
off and die and stop stalking me, you fucking weirdo. I haven't talked to you for like 2 years. Eat shit and get hit by a bus.
It was at that moment Jamie had sealed her fate.
Yes, I know, right? But that's not the only ex who's ever reached out to me. I personally think it's really fucking weird for exes to reach out to people specifically over like the phone or something like that. It's one thing to run into an ex at a fucking farmer's market or a grocery store or like some bar or something and it be like a moment. But I think that when you are no longer in somebody's life, you shouldn't make it a point to reach out to them out of the blue on your phone like they give a shit or like I don't know, I feel like it's so destructive no matter what you do. Like you're not in that person's life anymore and you're either reaching out to them and they're annoyed or they're like terrified. So like maybe you should just leave. Like your exes are exes for a reason. You know what I mean? Like those people are not in your life anymore for a very fucking specific reason. And usually when you're out of the relationship and you're looking back on it, you can see in perspective what was wrong about it. And so some people like might have anxiety about somebody reaching back out to them and getting a text message from somebody who, you know, maybe might have been abusive or like not great for their mental health or something like that. I think you should let sleeping dogs lay and give it a goddamn rest. Unless it's a real organic interaction that happens out in the goddamn world, leave your exes alone. It has nothing to do with you. Don't talk about them. Don't speak about them. It's not your fucking business and you're not a part of their life anymore. Done.
Well, okay. I think that there has to be instances where maybe there was like under a circumstance that they broke up and maybe they still love each other and they reach back out and then they're like, finally, let's give it another go. That happens all the time.
I just saw a comment in the chat.
Wow.
I don't know why you're bringing Judaism into it, bro. And then saying about the Vatican, but okay.
I'm confused.
Yeah, weird.
The comment was that Dan Sheehan. Why did Jesuit Sheehan jump on the Stars Academy train? Did the Vatican promise him an altar boy? That's vulgar and doesn't make sense.
What's the vulgar part?
Promising an altar boy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to add that to the list.
But then they said, "Let's have a laugh, no stress." So like,
I'm adding that. I'm adding that Bob Marley, Catholic priest. How do we want to say that?
Just put Catholic priest.
Just
we'll know what it means.
leave it at that. We all know what we mean.
All right. Does anyone else have any opinions about exes reaching back out?
I mean,
as you can tell, I'm adamantly against it.
Like, I'm in a position where, like, I have to communicate with my.
That's a different story, Kari. That's a different story. You created a clump of cells together.
Well,
no, I think people there's circumstances.
I get you. There's that.
Me, but that's my experience of it. Like my ex before that, I haven't spoken to her in like 12 years. Like it.
But would you want that person to reach out to you right now in this moment and be like, "Hey, hope you're doing great"?
I think that's fine, but if the person responds,
really
either doesn't respond or says leave me alone, then you leave them alone.
Right.
Like you shouldn't have to continuously be hitting them up because then at that point it's just like you're a stalker. And
I had one time some dude, I blocked him on everything, and then he found my email and then emailed me. Like some people don't get the picture. You should really stop attracting those people to your life. I know. No, listen. Well, I have my man now, so it's over. I don't have to search anymore. I'm also married to like 800 people on the internet.
Tony, what are your thoughts?
See, I block everybody, and then I delete you out of my phone, and then
vibes.
That way,
hit him with a new number. Who it is?
Yes.
So, like, I just see a number without a name attached to it, so I don't fucking answer or respond. I just immediately delete it.
Respect.
So, like, if you're my ex, you're dead to me. So I don't.
Same. See, same. Go away.
Yeah.
You guys are heartless.
Don't you have someone else to bother? Actually, like, why am I so important? Jesus Christ! Like, you're just hyping up my shit.
My first college girlfriend cheated on me, right, with her ex. Mm-hmm. She was dead to me after that. That was like,
okay.
That was a note, hard note. But my second college girlfriend.
Cambion, Jesus would be
she's
very
not dead
upset
to me.
Right
it
now.
Just didn't work out. But like, I don't talk to her.
Yeah, I mean, so like, I would totally, and I've actually done this. I've dated someone for like 2 weeks, got bored or annoyed with them, and just been like, "Yeah, I don't want to see you again," and then just completely clean slate them out of.
I've done that as well, so I feel it. Tony, we're twinsies when it comes to this. Same. I'm like, 2 weeks in, I'm over it. You've bored me.
Am I wrong for having emotions?
Yes.
No, it's just that me and Tony
The
are
Republicans
very
aren't
well, no,
very
it's just-
emotional.
It's just that me and Tony are
Correct.
really traumatized, and so
Yeah.
we've unfortunately learned that emotion equals like what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're weak. Like you're
Yeah,
weak,
weakness.
so therefore you don't show emotion. You do
Mhm.
the opposite. You show rage because
Okay, so
rage
there's
is
no-
powerful.
There's an old
I'm
adage,
being very honest and vulnerable
in
with you.
order
That's
to be
exactly what it
loved, you have
is.
to submit to the terrifying ordeal of being known.
I mean, that's fine, but you run into people who like you could date someone and be like, oh god, they're really fucking annoying, and or
Mhm.
like they laugh really fucking weird, and I can't live with that the rest of my life. So I'm gonna get rid of this.
I dated a guy whose
Girl,
I couldn't stand how dirty his shower was, and that's all it was. I could not physically stand how absolutely disgusting his shower was, and so I could never go back to his house again. And it wasn't about him as a person. I mean, it kind of was because it showed me that he didn't know how to clean things properly. But it was like there was like a yellow rusty film over everything, and there was nothing metal inside that shower, and it was just like what? It was so confusing. Like all you would need is a sponge and some soap. Like Jesus Christ.
Yep.
So I feel Tony.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I went through something like that when I, ended a very long relationship that I had. I think it was hard for that person to realize that I really did fully walk away, and I had met someone else who is my husband now. But there was a point in time where constant text messages, really creepy and stalkily, and things like places I was at would text me, and be like, "Are you gonna leave yet?" So I could go in or something like that, or just like text me knowing that that they were in the same area and that they saw me, and weird things like that, and then like
Creepy.
turning around and they're like literally staring at me from the other end of like a hallway at the bowling alley, and like that kind of stuff was really weird for me. But that stopped, and I think it's just also like that growing process of like really realizing something's done, and everything's fine now. So I mean, like, I don't have anything like against that person, but at the time it was kind of freaking me out, like all the time.
Yeah.
Like
You know what, Brie? You sparked a memory for me. I have a picture on my phone that was sent to me by an ex at a festival while I was at a festival with somebody else. And he like took a picture of the two of us sitting together and then like text messaged it to me. And I was like, how fucking creepy is that? And I still have that picture on my phone. I remember that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I was like, how weird are people? Like, what made you see your ex in public, take out your phone, take a picture of them just enjoying themselves with someone else, and then send it to them? Like,
yeah.
Like, how
Or, like,
dare they?
in the middle of the night, are you still at Josh's house? And I'm like, at Josh's house. Just weird stuff like that, or like it's awkward. But yeah, I think that's also just a part of growing up and being really salty about things, and then you mature and realize, wow, I was a fucking weirdo, and you move on. Relationships can get really murky. I was really lucky with that one. I could have gotten worse. Really bad.
Listen, sometimes you don't know the people you've even married. They could be an axe murderer, and there's a whole movie about it.
Did I just add this one? I think I did.
Green ones are new,
Did it? Oh shit! COVID denial.
I didn't hear it. I froze.
COVID denial.
Oh shit. I'm not a COVID denier. I got COVID. So I don't really know what to tell you. I'm stronger than COVID, and not everyone's as strong as me. I have strong, thick Jewish/Russian blood, so I can overcome anything and I'll never die. But COVID was real. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think COVID was fake.
Okay.
I had to have a conversation recently with someone that thinks it was completely fake, but then in the same conversation said, I had COVID. And I was like, okay, bro.
That sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it?
I have a friend that worked in a care home here in town, and like 9 people on the same floor died in 1 week. And she knew every single one of them. Like, she came to my house and was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do that. Everyone's dying. And I'm like, fuck, man. So like, to hear people say that it's not real is like saying that water isn't wet. It's like it's fucking retarded. Like, Jesus Christ.
I understand questioning whether or not it naturally occurred or whether it was manufactured and then given to us, and then like the whole thing with the vaccine, and like I understand all of that, but it being an actual, an actual thing, yeah. So it's like it was obviously real. It could have happened however it happened, but it was obviously real.
Right.
Lots of people died. I had COVID. I feel like everyone's had COVID at least once now.
I haven't.
Now that you've said it, you're going to get it.
I don't leave my house.
Bam.
Which is fine because it's different now. Like, I really wouldn't care getting it again because I know that the strains that are out right now are nothing like in the beginning.
But that they were, yeah.
Yeah, so like...
Listen, here's the thing. I don't think we're ever going to get the truth about it until like 10 or 25 years from now. Like, so, yes, people are coming out and being like, oh, they think it was...
CIA. This broadcast.
I love the way that Paradox Fossil, the way that Todd.
I was saying that we need to FOIA the government about their documents about COVID 25 years in the future.
I don't know if that will ever happen.
You hear that, John Greenwald?
That's what I'm saying, Greenwald.
Yeah, John, get on it.
Start the paperwork now.
But at this point, it's like it's so far gone. Like, there's nothing that we can do. It's kind of like all the stuff that happened with the vax. I got the vax so long ago. There's nothing I can do about it. Lydia, what do you want me to do?
Yeah,
I can't go back. I can't suck it out of my body.
I feel like at this point, COVID's just like old news. Like, we're on to the next bullshit. Like, we dealt with it for 2-3 years, and now it's like we're just on to other shit. It's just out there. We have to live with it now. And now we're on to some other thing. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get the whole COVID deniers thing. Like, I had it, but it sucked for a few days, and then I was fine. I think the bigger things is like,
the cool thing is
just the way that if you even said anything about it, you were immediately shut down by the media. Like, social media and stuff would ban you, block you. Like, if you were showing certain articles, censoring scientists and stuff like that, like censoring the guy who helped create mRNA vaccines and deleting him off of social media because they didn't like what he was saying. Yeah,
McCullough.
But like, you can't have it both ways and be like, trust the science, and then censor scientists who have been in the field for 20, 30, 40 years when they're talking about some of this stuff because it doesn't fit the official narrative that changed on a weekly basis from the CDC.
You know what? All I have to say,
I think it's dangerous, though. That's the only thing I think is that when there were so many people questioning all of that, I felt like it was also dangerous at the same time, because I think what we have learned from society is that they are completely palpable. You can just make people believe anything. They will just run with it. And so
we saw that for 3 years.
At a certain point, I also think it would be dangerous to convince people not to take it seriously.
Well, I'm not saying that they weren't convincing people not to say it's. The majority of these scientists weren't saying this is nothing, you don't have to worry about it. They were saying, they were questioning the narrative about masks and stuff like that, which they've now come out and admitted that it really didn't work, but we still got you all to stay in your homes for 4 months and not go outside and live in fear. There's a difference between like being upfront and saying, look, this is what it is. This is what you need to do. When we find out more stuff, we're going to let you know. But instead, it was like this shitstorm of fucking crazy and removing people from the conversation who spent their whole lives. And just because they weren't in the government, they weren't the ones that you should be listening to, because we should definitely fucking trust our government.
Well, I think that it's just leads to a bigger issue of government control and the kind of information they want out there. And this was on such a big scale of it that they that they had to do this. But I just want everyone to remember, though, that this all happened under Trump's watch.
Yeah.
Go back to bed, America. Your
Go back
government
to
is in
sleep.
control
Go back
again.
to bed. I love
They
it.
always be blaming things on other presidents because they were the president for it. You know what I mean? So, like, technically, Trump was the president during all this. So that's who I blame.
You know what I blame is that we did like, oh, I shut down the airports, but I still let this one go through. Or like, I always thought that if we
Didn't it
really did a
happen on
2
9/11
weeks
though?
real
Just saying it happened
shutdown
on 9/11.
and not like a half-ass shutdown, we always had half-ass shutdowns. And it's like, you're shut down, but over there, they're open. They're shut down, but over there, they're open.
It was like everybody stay home unless you work at a gas station or a grocery store or this or that, because people have to go out of their house to go and get things. So like you can't just like tell people to stay home and like not go anywhere. And that was the entire America. Like they should have literally closed everything down for 2 weeks and forced everyone to stay home. Period. End of story. Full stop. That's what it is. Nothing else is open, and it probably would have been much more under control. You're correct, Bree.
Well,
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
just
you know, even if you
prolonged.
just so the problem with the lockdown
It wasn't a
was
solid lockdown.
Once it ended, you still have international travel. So if every country didn't do the exact thing at the exact time to let it run its course with who had been, you know, infected. And yeah, zero COVID didn't work because you saw the Chinese people started protesting the zero COVID policy. So the Chinese government said, okay, well, we'll lift it. And then like hundreds of thousands of people or whatever it was got infected. And then, you know, they were running out of rooms and crematoriums to cremate people because all these people died. And I was like, wow, I wonder if they did that just because they're like, you're going to protest us? Oh, here you go. You go ahead. Go be out. We'll let you all get infected.
Now that's
Look around and find out.
Tinfoil, Tony. I don't think China would ever do anything like that to their population.
No, they would never do that. That's just.
But what it did show us, I think, is how fast disease spreads and how like, because I'm sure you all remember hearing it like it was just something, you know, you came across on MSN or something, and you just came across it thinking like, oh, that sucks for China.
Yeah.
And then it's like a month later, it's like your life. So I think it's something that we learned is really how fast those things spread and how we just don't know how to handle anything. I really think a lot of people had a lot of trust in our leaders to have a plan and to be, you know, very cohesive with it. And that was not the case. And I just hope nothing like that ever happens again. Because
I think that showed pretty much every nation's government didn't have a handle on the stuff.
Yeah. It's funny because
not just ours.
Like, oh, this country America did really bad with it. Do you know what happened to fucking Italy? Like the amount of people that died in Italy, and then look at the amount of people that died in countries that didn't lock down and implement the same. There's no meaning. Like the data doesn't make sense when you look at countries that did lock down versus countries that didn't lock down and their death rates and everything else, how they locked down. And now we have the problem of anytime you go somewhere, especially during the pandemic, there were masks all over the fucking ground. People just throw that shit in like, oh, I see we're doing really fucking great here because they would talk about, oh, dolphins are swimming in this harbor again.
I was gonna say it actually did really great. It was nice to see how if humans would just hide out a little bit, how the planet is trying to reheal itself. But at the same time, we definitely took some steps backward with.
No, yeah, you had a giant group of people who were like, oh my God, the government is trying to control me and this and that. And they went like full blown opposite. And they were like, instead of staying home and hunkering down and being safe, I'm going to go out into the world and not wear a mask and do exactly the opposite of what the government's saying. And that was a huge chunk. It wasn't just like a small group of people who did that. It was a giant community of people who ended up doing that. And I think that was one of the other proponents of why it kept spreading around, is because people did the exact opposite of what the government was recommending.
I stayed home just because I loved not having to talk to people.
It was great.
My inner introvert was like, this is fucking great. Like, this is awesome.
But it also brought us some really good gems. Like, does everybody remember seeing the picture of the lady wearing like a bubble in grocery shopping and like all the crazy shit that
Billy
came out of it?
misunderstood.
There's nothing misunderstood about that. But it showed a lot of people that people would call the cops on their neighbors and be like, there's like 7 people at their house and they're outside. Meanwhile, your governor is going out to eat at the French Laundry with all their friends unmasked, but you got to stay home. That's a thing that really pissed a lot of people off, is these government officials who were telling people and implementing lockdowns and stuff weren't fucking doing it themselves. And you see
that's
people...
what I was saying, is it wasn't all over, we did this thing. It was half and half and half and half and different times, and it was just a wreck. It was just like there was no way to really control that as much as they wanted to.
Yeah, and truthfully, I would have loved a 2-week vacation.
I know, right? I mean, I got to work from home for like the entire 3 or 4 months or whatever it was. So not going anywhere and just ordering everything off of DoorDash, wasn't bad. I was also, remote working. I can't do that now, but
no.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts
for COVID? It was a messy situation. I hope that never happens again.
Statistically, it will.
Every 100
The only
years.
good thing that happened to me during COVID is that I got a good tan because I was able to just lay out every day, and that was it. But I am actually know there's a second part that at least to look at the positive is that it did take people a time to slow down and realize how much they cared for one another, and human interaction was a big deal for people. And I think mental health became at the forefront. I don't think it was as talked about before COVID. And then when people had to go through, obviously, these cycles of depression, then it became like something everyone started talking about. So that is at least,
because we experienced what it was like to be in solitary confinement, and then we realized our brains didn't like that so fucking much.
Oh, I was used to it already. But...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Billy, you're totally missing it, buddy.
You're missing the point.
You're totally missing it, but I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know what else to tell you, buddy.
It's okay. You're kind of getting the opposite of what we're saying, but
that always happens. There's always someone that hears the opposite of what you're just trying to say.
Lost in translation.
Yeah.
We can't all
also,
be
we're not.
Next topic.
It's just opinions, babes.
Okay. Pop culture media boundaries. What does that mean?
The flashbacks to Jordan Sather are real.
What does this mean? I'm trying to think of what this means. Pop culture media boundaries. The silence and the do 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 do. That's true, Night Gazer. It's okay.
Is that one of mine?
Like I said, we can't all be winners. It's fine.
We can't all be winners. Exactly.
We can't all be winners.
Sorry,
there's going to be a few short sticks. I can't think of what the fuck this means.
I don't remember.
All right, so pick a different one, because I have no brain power for that.
I can't remember what the context was. I feel like we're running out of topics.
Oh shit, I'm getting it again. Okay. Gay marriage.
Pro-gay marriage. I'm about it.
The second time I pulled this out.
Gay marriage for life. I'm an LGBTQ ally. I also kind of identify. I guess I identify as queer, not kind of. I am a queer individual. I'd fuck anything. It's just the truth. Like, I believe they call it pansexual.
You gotta be careful with that statement.
No, it's like pansexual, like male, female, identifying as male, identifying as female.
But when you said,
I'm not.
When you said I'd fuck anything, I immediately went to bestiality.
Oh no. Well, that's because you're gross in your brain. That's what the Diet Coke is doing to you.
Yeah.
Yucky. No. I mean, like, human people wise. Like, I just like human people. I like human people. It doesn't matter.
Not reptilian people.
Yeah.
You know what?
How do you mere mortals do that? like meet each other and converse.
I like boobies. I like man boobies, girl boobies, man butts, lady butts, unassigned butts. I'm just into it.
Just to clear the air really quick, Billy, I think we're just saying that you misunderstood what we were saying. We definitely were not like going with kind of the thing that you thought we were saying. That's all. Anyway,
love you though, Billy.
I just wish that that the topic of gay marriage and all that didn't have anything to do with politics. That's probably why this came up. I mean, there's some things that I think would be so much easier for people if something like that wasn't included in politics. You know, shit, maybe I would be a Republican. You don't know, but it's those simple things. No, it's those simple topics that are too important to me. Oh, that's in the bowl.
That's in the bowl. Yeah, don't worry.
It's in the bowl.
Yeah.
Good.
So I just wish that it wasn't in politics at all.
Tony, are you for gay marriage?
I honestly think that everybody should be able to suffer the joys of marriage.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it's not like statistically, marriage isn't the most fun thing in the world. So if everyone wants to suffer in it, like why not let them? Like,
yeah, you know, my grandpa once.
Why did they? Why do the LGBTQ community not get to suffer? Like, I mean, it's legal in America and it's legal in a lot of countries. There's countries it's not. I think Russia, it's not legal. It's not legal in like the entire Middle East, but they're just now letting women drive in Saudi Arabia. So congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
But, you know, it's just life. As long as people aren't hurting other people, I really don't give a fuck what.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like who you marry doesn't affect my everyday life, so why would I have an opinion about it?
Yeah,
for sure. I was gonna say my grandpa a long time ago, actually not that one, a couple years ago, was saying that he, you know, believes that businesses should have the right not to like sell to gay people if they don't want to, and I just thought that was just so batshit crazy to think that way, and it just really sucks that we have to make it a big deal. I kind of feel like if we didn't make it a big deal, then it wouldn't be such an issue. You know, it becomes this thing where it's like you have to be full on gay pride. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I think if we didn't make it an issue and if we just made it like, yeah, marry who you want, be happy, then you wouldn't have that. And I think that's what a lot of people get irritated about, is because they feel like they have to say certain things right, or like, you know, there's just a lot that comes with it, and I think it's just because we make it a big deal.
I think that in 25 years from now, when the older generation is no longer around and we have all the boomers that are out there, it's just going to be normal, in the same sense that like stuff back then it was different and it's different now. Like I remember watching actual people interviewing people on the news, because during the 80s they started implementing not being able to drink and drive, and people were actually upset about it, and the guy was like interviewing people in their trucks as they're like drinking a beer, and they're like, first they take away our right to drink when we drive, what is it next? It's going to be our guns next. And like that that was a real thing that happened. But if you look at it in retrospect now, like we look back at that and we're like, oh my God, like that's not okay now. That's not something that we would do. But now like it's different. So I think that we're going to have like, this is another one of those topics where like the farther we get in the future, the more across the board, like normal it is.
Yeah. The less people will care
Agree,
about
Vanessa.
it, and just, it won't be a thing that anyone cares about.
It should be like, I think your sexual orientation and, you know, everything, what you like, all of that should really just be your own business. And that is one thing. I think that there are some other countries that are more open to that. Just leaving it alone. And it's interesting that a lot of people like privately will be like, well, I'm kind of, you know, you know what they say, sexuality is fluid. So if we didn't pay attention to it, it really wouldn't be like a big deal. Like let people do. You do you, I do me.
Acting like it's a big deal is what makes it a big deal.
Yes.
Does
that make sense?
Anymore, but, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
we've reached a point where like more Western culture, like, is comfortable with it. But now that the debates move to like trans issues and stuff like that, so it's
yeah, and it didn't Putin recently say like they let gay people marry, or they force people to marry gay or something like that. He said something.
He said something like that, and then he also said about how the West has normalized the P word. So
Yeah.
Penis? I'm just
no. No.
The other one.
We're obviously very inclusive people around here.
I think in like 20-25 years, most people now really just don't care if they see a gay couple. They're just like, all right, whatever.
No, whatever.
But
yeah.
even in 25 years, I think people who do CrossFit will still be annoying as fuck. And people will just be like, oh, God, a vegan. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. That's will be the people we hate.
Hey, I was a vegan.
And you know what? No, we didn't like you then.
I didn't like you then.
Exactly. Did you also tell everyone you ever met that you were a vegan?
No,
like,
I didn't.
At every single point.
Exactly.
Where you're like, hi, I'm Kari. I'm vegan and I do
vegan.
CrossFit.
I was like,
see how much I can
Deadlift
on the side of a mountain in the forest, eating kale, not talking to people for 2 years. Don't recommend it.
Yeah. Man, those are some good topics today. It seems like we're really pushing the boundaries a little bit, ruffling the feathers.
All right, let's grab one more topic for the day.
I
One
did
last one in us.
already.
Oh,
but
no.
I'll put it back.
No, I was saying grab one more. Yeah.
It's the same
Oh,
one.
I'm not vegan anymore. No.
Jesus.
It's
1, 2,
I
2,
I
3
was
then.
gonna leave it back because it popped up because I wrote it this morning. Or I wrote it in the beginning of the show with socialism.
Socialism.
I'm more like pescatarian, I think.
I'm just worried this is gonna be a long topic.
Okay, socialism.
I got 5 minutes.
So I am incredibly uninformed. Is socialism where you think that everybody should just have everything equally?
That's called equality.
No, but like it's like
No,
it's
like how communism, it's like you get a pot from,
like everyone gets their share of the
Everyone
pot,
gets-
everything's
yeah,
equal. Is that socialism?
Socialism is about using the apparatus of the system to help social issues, so like social security. The NHS here is a socialist institution, so it's about I guess the idea is about like enforcing taxes and then using that money and pouring it back into social infrastructure.
Oh, then I'm not a socialist.
Yeah, we know.
I'm
we know
fiscally liberal or fiscally
It kinda
conservative.
seems like
I'm not about that
that
life.
would be a good thing. Like, is it gonna go towards like mental health?
No, I don't think that we
You
should
know there
collect
hasn't
taxes,
been
and I don't think I
any-
should collectively be in.
Yeah,
Anyone's
I don't think
responsibility.
I don't think there's true socialism in the American system. It's impossible in a capitalist.
There is
value
democratic
system.
socialism though,
Wait,
and
question.
I can't remember
Okay,
how
but
that
that's
works.
not socialism. That's
What's-
democratic capitalist
what's-
socialism. That's how
what's-
Bernie Sanders got millions.
What's the one where we all live? Where we all live like, and we just trade things, and everybody is equal.
barter
There's not
system?
really, like there's not really money or government. Everyone just like lives their lives, and like if I need something, I can trade like my typewriter for some bread, or like
I
you
like
know,
that. I'm
That's
into
whatever
trade.
that is what I'm into.
Mostly that's Russia before it collapsed. And after
Okay, well
it
then,
collapsed.
okay, well my family came from there. I'm part
A
Russian.
really
so that
good
makes sense.
example of socialism is Starfleet in Star Trek. That's
I don't watch
literally-
that.
Well, I don't know. So the space socialism, where they have money, they just go around helping other planets and being like the good guys.
Unity.
Anarchy. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, fuck the government. I don't need them. I just want to,
Yeah.
like, I have lots of treasures around me and I want to trade them for things. I don't really need money. I don't want a
state.
job.
No,
Well,
I agree
that's-
with paradox
hey.
fossils.
Same for
I don't know
Czechoslovakia.
if I could donate $5 out of every paycheck and I knew it was going to a pot to make sure that no person in this country was out of food or water, I would absolutely do that.
But it doesn't work like that.
You bet.
I know, but
that
I'm saying
someone would
like
find
that
a
would
way
be
to
like
tax
the values.
Instead, that $5 you're donating is paying the salary of some very annoying person at the DMV.
Oh, I'm just saying that's the value behind that I would
paying that
absolutely not have a
horrible,
problem.
awful police officer who beat up somebody. That's where your $5 is going.
This is a new thing that they're doing with our taxes, is paying the pensions for people in Ukraine.
What?
Yes, that is part of the new aid package to Ukraine, is to fund pensions for retirees in Ukraine.
Well, you know what? Like we said at the beginning of the show, America likes to come in and save everybody. And
gotta save the world.
Gotta save the world. Yeah.
America.
Fuck yeah. This has been a really fun one, man.
Yeah.
It's been a really thank you, Marvelous Marvin. You are the bomb.
We love you, Marvin. Marvin is so sweet, yeah.
Whether or not these topics today were uncomfortable for some of you, please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed.
And leave topics in the comments, and we'll add them to the board.
Yeah, leave topics in the
after
comments.
the show is over. If you could leave us a nice comment, even if it's "I hate you." We'll take it.
We'll take it
and
as a comment.
Yes, just to reiterate what Billy was saying earlier, this is Uninformed. We are literally talking about any topic that's in this bowl. We do not
straight up
claim
out
to
of our
have any
asshole.
final word.
Yeah.
And chances are, one of these days, we'll throw them back in here and see if our opinion has changed, because we are all about changing your opinions. The more you learn, the more you grow, the more everything changes for you, and we're about that life. So.
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
So, Tony, where can we find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on the Twitter at Buttwater, and just so everyone knows, there are 4 lights.
Okay.
Lies.
Wow,
There
okay.
are 5 lights.
What about you, Goat?
You can find me at Matsbury on Twitter, if I'm on Twitter. If not, you can find me on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday at
Car?
Tardiwava.
Right on.
Car?
Hi. I'm Kari. I'm the wind god extraordinaire.
And I'm a juice.
Turns out I'm not the only deity in the village. You can't find me on the internet because I hate the internet.
Okay.
And you hate it here.
Yeah.
I hate it here.
I am Jamie, and I desperately plead with you all every week. Don't find me on the internet. I am your friend on YouTube and nowhere else. Maybe on Discord. On Discord, I'll be your friend. But
friend is stretching it a little there.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Especially if you're my ex, leave me alone. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And I will see you on Sunday for Sunday morning card readings with Chad, because he has internet again.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye. Have a lovely day.
Bye.